So today I'm going to seal the panel on the Ferrari and go through how to apply a sealant. Now this panel's already got a sealant on there, so we're going to have to remove that first. Now if you're doing this to start with, the first thing you need to do is wash the car completely and make sure that it's fully clean. The next thing you're going to want to do, if you haven't already, is to use a clay bar to remove any of the contamination from the surface. After that, you're going to want to use then probably a compound to polish the surface with, just to make sure that your paint is fully clean and you're getting a fresh surface. Now if you have got an existing coating on there, you're going to want to use something like the IPA wipe that we made in a previous video, and that's going to remove any of the existing coatings. I would advise doing this first before you do any of the claying or polishing. Now I'm not going to do it on here because the car's already been fully paint corrected and machine polished. It was clayed in that process, so it doesn't really need doing. So what I'm going to do is use the 25% IPA and a brand new microfiber towel. It doesn't have to be a posh one because we're only using it for the IPA. So we're going to use that now to remove the sealant that's on there. As before, just a couple of quick squirts and a wipe over, and you'll feel and see the original sealant start coming off. So just got to do the whole of this panel just to make sure that there's none of the sealant on there from before. So just spray on and wipe, just so you get a nice even coverage, and I can feel already that the protection's being removed that's already on there. You can also see some of the little bits of dust, and that's the sealant that's on now breaking down and coming off. But yes, this panel's getting really grabby now. I'm just going to turn my back to you and do this section. So I do apologise. But yeah, it's like I say, if you've not done any sort of paint protection prep work before, just use your clay and then polish the surface. This goes on from a video that I did before, where somebody's commented saying that they were recommended to polish a surface and then put a sealant on and then clay the surface, which sounds like the wrong way around to do it to me, because I don't know why you'd clay a surface that's been sealed. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, so like I say, you can see in some places where you get this plasticky residue, and that's from the sealer that's already on here. But there is something I've noticed that I am getting quite a bit when I'm using different types of waxes on here. We're getting this plasticky residue coming off, which is part of the sealant that's already on there, and that's why I'm currently removing it, also in preparation for winter. But I'm removing it now to replace the sealant with a new one. Okay, so that's the panel fully wiped down now. It's fully IPA'd, so I've removed any existing sealant. It feels nice and smooth to the touch, but you can tell that there isn't any sealant on there now. You can tell there's no protection, and like I said, you can see in the bits that are coming off, like here, that the existing sealant is breaking down and coming off. Now, I'm only doing this panel to show you today. It is really sunny at the moment. It's not too hot, but this isn't ideal for doing this in. But I just wanted to get this video done to show you how to get this process done, because it's as part of your prep a lot of the time for winter. You're going to want to remove any waxes and sealants that you've got on a car to get a fresh one on that will give you full protection. The one we're going to use is the Chemical Guys Jet Seal, and that gives up to 12 months of protection, so touch wood, it should get us through winter. Okay, so that's the panel now fully detoxed. You can apply your sealant. They come in different forms. This is like a wax, a liquid wax type, but you can get spray types, and you can get the more like the ceramic types, but they're more, I would advise that for professional use really. You can apply it using either your yellow foam applicators. You could apply it using your thicker sponge applicators. This should be red, but it got washed with a blue towel and turned purple, but it looks pretty cool. Lastly, you can use the blue microfiber type sponge pad, and that's what I'm going to use today. I'm just going to put these back. Okay, it's always a good idea to keep these sorts of things in a bag. That way they don't get any contamination, dirt, dust or debris on them that will cause scratches. Right, getting out of breath, it's warm. We'll give this a good shaking. And then we're going to want probably 3 strips. So 1, 2, 3. If we need any more, we can add it. But what you'll find is that these do go a long way. So I'll show you. Give the panel a dab in a few places. What that will do is help you to spread it across the bodywork. Okay, so just apply in straight lines, but what you want to do when you're applying anything, whether it's a wax, a sealant or anything else, this here is too thick. You want to try and get it off, keep wiping, spread it to a new area. The reason being is you want a thin coating that you can only just about see. If you can see it and it's building up and it's going really, really hazy like that is, keep wiping it, because all that you're going to do is end up wiping that off and it becomes wasted product. All sealants and waxes and anything else, you should just be able to see a really sort of light film of them on the surface. You don't need to see them in a big thick film like where it goes white and you can't see through it. Obviously the idea of that is eventually it will turn white and it will haze over, but keep spreading the product around because it goes a lot further than you think it would. You see those 3 strips we've used, I can still see that it's applying in a thin film, and that's what you want. You want that thin film, not thick, because when it's thick all you're going to do is buff that product off and it just becomes waste. It's just waste product. So just a nice thin film all over the panel. If you feel it's going a little bit dry, you can add a tiny smidge more, but you don't want to go applying too much because that's how you get through loads of product and waste money, and you don't need to be wasting money. You see, again, too thick on there, so we can then go up there and start spreading it around. A little does, or I know it's like one of those sales things they always say to you, a little goes a long way. But it really does, in all honesty, because you don't need really thick coats. Thick coats doesn't mean you're getting any more protection. It just means you're wasting more and you're buffing more off. Okay, so I'm happy with that now. Now, always remember that when you are applying these sorts of products, to read what the bottle says to do, because they do have varying cure times. Excuse me. Some products can be left overnight. Some products can be left for 5 minutes. Some products are straight away off. The jet seal is 20 minutes. So what we're going to do is leave this now for 20 minutes, and then I'll come back, buff it off. We'll go through that procedure, and then we'll go through what you should do afterwards. So I'll be back with you in 20 minutes. Okay, so now your panel's all been sealed. Your sealant is cured. We've left this one for just over 20 minutes, probably more like half an hour. Take your plush microfiber towel, fold it into quarters, and then all you've got to do is buff the sealant residue off. And because we've applied this in really thin coats, it's not taking a lot of work at all to buff off. Nice and easy. I am regretting the decision to wear a grey shirt while filming when it's warm also. Sorry about that. So, yeah, we're just going to buff off. And the great thing with this jet seal is it comes off so easily. It's one of the only products that I've used that's harder to put on than it is to take off. But again, absolutely stunning shine and depth on the paint from this product, and it's all silky smooth. And this will give us, it says up to 12 months protection, but we'll just keep applying it regularly as and when it's needed. And there we go, the panel is, strictly speaking, yeah, it's all buffed off. It's looking great. A great amount of shine on there. And this is what we like from these sorts of products, is when we get a nice and easy to use product that's straightforward for everybody, whether you're new to detailing or you're an experienced detailer or an obsessive detailer, which I think some of us are. And there we go. So one little tip I've got for you is, it's a good idea to add 2 layers of sealant, and that way you get a good build up, and your bottom layer of sealant will break down and take your top layer with it, but your top layer will give a bit more protection to the bottom layer. Now, what I like to do once I've applied the sealant is to give it a little bit more protection and longevity is straight away adding some wax onto there also, and this way you can get a little bit more life out of your sealant. And the reason is that the wax breaks down at a different rate than the sealer. So what happens is, if you've got a wax such as this one, and this is the Black Pearl Chemical guys, what will happen is this wax probably lasts around about 3 months. So we'll get 3 months life out of this, and that will hopefully add a little bit of extra time onto the life of the sealant that's underneath. So the jet seal that's under there will not start degrading until the wax has started to break down, if you see what I mean. It's just about layering the product. So yeah, it's a case of you put your wax on, because wax doesn't have as long a life as a sealant does. If we put it on and let this break down first, then the sealant tends to last a little bit longer, in my opinion. As usual, everything is just in my experience that I've found that this is the best way to do it. So because this wax doesn't have a drying time and you can put it straight on and straight off, I'm just going to buff this off now. I'll use the same towel as I used with the sealant. You can use fresh towels if you like, it's entirely up to you. I'm not judging. It's whatever you want to do and whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to use a new towel with every product, you can do. If you want to use the same towel with your waxes and sealants, I don't see a problem. So that's my procedure for applying a sealant to the paintwork. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. If there's anything else you'd like to see or any tips that you want to share, please leave them in the comments below and subscribe to be notified when I upload new videos. See you next time.